go live. That's my opinion.
So we have 3 more days. Srini, do you think that would be good? We can have another call on Monday. That would give you like 2 full days, maybe Monday afternoon. What do you think of that?
Yeah, see.
Wait, Srini, you can't get these. These aren't prod changes, are they?
No. QA changes.
Oh, okay.
This is all the lower environments, non-prod.
Yeah, we are talking about non-prod right now.
Okay.
So this is deployed up through acceptance QA, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it sounds like we just got that working this morning. Brent, correct me if I'm wrong. That we had some additional problems with the new code. This number of days seems a little low to me, considering that it just got working in QA this morning.
So I would put that for RM2. Let me just.
I guess when are we planning on moving to pre-prod, and how much time are we going to have to validate there as well?
No, there's no pre-prod. We are going to prod from here directly on Tuesday.
Pre-prod.
Yeah, since in the lower environment we have only one setup, we need to see whether the callbacks are bifurcating to dev when we call from the dev, and as well as from QA, and as well as from pre-prod. So this needs to be tested by QA team. So definitely we need some time there.
Yeah, and I probably might have changes by tomorrow for this. So then that needs to be deployed to QA. So they're going to need to test it. So I'm pretty much in the same situation as Srini. But also I'm very curious, we're not talking about prod. I don't have any production keys, secrets, etc. When's that going to take place?
We are setting up the prod right now, Brent, as we speak. And once we validate the credentials, we will be sharing them with you, with the teams individually by Friday. Like that's tomorrow, actually, end of day tomorrow. That's the plan for now. We just want to check the credentials with the prod before we share it. And prod setup is in progress.
So that seems to me like we need time to work on that too, right?
So we are right now. It's June 17th, end of day. So you'll have 2 days, Monday and Tuesday.
Not a ton of time to get stuff up through environments.
I don't know why this is being rushed. It seems like this is rushed.
We're getting the prod key, and then we're immediately, making the app set exchange, putting in RFCs to accept, and then pre-prod, validate at each step, and then prod, all in a very short time frame. If there are any errors or other problems, we're going to be really in trouble, especially if we shut down the old service.
Yep, that is true, Colin. From once the go live date, the significance of June 17th is the traffic will no longer go to APIGEE. It will be going to Azure. So in a way, the APIGEE is going to be shut down on June 17th.
Okay, and that's like already set in stone.
If that is the reason we are having this call, to get the application teams on board and see what the roadblocks are, what the input is, and then we can have another call on Monday. That will give us 2 more days to get the confidence level better.
Yeah, if there's no backup plan, I'm not sure why we need to.
Backup plan, Colin, would be to point it back to APIGEE.
Wait, what? I thought you said APIGEE is going away.
That is correct, Hunter. APIGEE is going away, but the setup is going to be there for a couple more weeks, correct? So if things don't work, we can point the traffic again, because at the end of the day, networking team is going to point the traffic. Instead of routing to APIGEE, it will be routed to Azure APIM. And if we don't pass the June 17th validations and verifications, we can't leave it like that, correct? Because the prod will be down the next day. So the backup plan is to point to APIGEE.
So if one application can't go, then none of them can go. Is that correct?
That is correct, Jeff, because we are not changing the URL.
Yeah, so that's actually going to make it nearly impossible. So my concern has to do with all of these applications are on a different release cadence. And so these would all be a non-prod, we'll call them a hotfix release is what we'll call it, because it's an off-cycle, that's a better word. This would be an off-cycle release for it to be on June 17th. I think in order for that to actually work in any type of way that all of these applications can go together, it's got to be way farther ahead than like 3 days from now. 3 business days. And that would assume that all prior environments have been configured and tested before anybody would release the prod on an off-cycle release.
So Hunter, that's a really good point, because next week is going to be kind of a wonk release anyway, because we're not releasing till next Monday.
I'm not even talking about S360. I'm just talking about every app that's dependent on this.
Yeah.
Has a different release cadence.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for the hard switchover? Is there a reason why we can't bring up the new environment and then leave the old environment up for 1 week, 2 weeks, get everybody off, and ensure that everybody's switched over and we don't care about cadence, right?
That's what I was kind of thinking. But the only thing is Swati, your goal was to reuse the external DNS entry, correct?
The URLs, we are trying to keep the URLs the same. That's the reason we are going this route, to keep the URLs the same. Otherwise, calling what you said is if we come up with new URLs, yep, that could be an option, because APIGEE will be running there, and then the new URL will be pointing to Azure, and the application teams can pick up the new URL and go when they are ready to pick it up.
Which does make things kind of easier, right, Colin? So, then we could have a single, let's say we have a single off cycle where every one of these has a person who's going to validate all the, which might be impossible in itself, but you'd validate all of your calls are working. I just don't know how. If nobody has to redeploy software, because if the URL stays the same, you don't have to update anything, right? Actually, that's not true, because there's some people have a different auth flow, correct?
So for us
Yes.
on MVR, the URL stayed the same, but the call changed. So it wasn't a huge deal. We're registered as complete, but it's not necessarily like if you don't have to cut over. If you don't have to cut over, the URL is gonna swap and point to Azure instead of APIGEE. But you got to make sure that the calls that you're making to those endpoints are going to work again. That the payloads stay the same.
So does anyone out there? So I would think you could maybe do no, you can't do a 2-phase. I think you'd have to do what Colin's suggesting in order for this to be smooth, probably. You could have a temporary.
Yeah, Hunter, but changing the URL was not on the table when we started. That's the reason we are going with this approach.
I just think logistically you can't make it happen unless all of these apps go together and we dedicate a single day that we go at the exact
That is June 17th that we have been planning for a month now, or more than a month.
Well, no, that's June 17th is for the idea that you're going to switch over APIGEE. But when you're making actual changes in the software, remember all these code bases are going live on their release cadence every 2 weeks associated with sprint development work. You can't just make the hotfix change in some cases.
Yeah, can we take app by app approach? So what app are we talking about here that cannot go live on 17th?
So I think we can go live. My problem right now is that it only started working in acceptance this morning. So we haven't, in my opinion, had enough time to like really test this out. I'm concerned.
Okay, how long? Okay, can we pick app by app, right? So was that Colin talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pricing sophistication.
Okay, pricing sophistication. How long do we need the QA to be completed?
I'd like a minimum of another day.
Okay,
run it through.
so that's fine. Tomorrow we have.
Brent said he had a code change, right? He had to get in tomorrow, so it's available tomorrow afternoon or Monday to test. Brent, is that your goal?
Well, it depends on the scope of what I have to change. Because Colin, I can change those endpoints, get rid of those endpoints in a different PR. We can create a task for that. There's a rush here.
Yeah.
I think my concern, so I could get this in today and then publish it to QA. I'm only updating the QA environment, right? Not the other environments are pointing to APIGEE right now.
That is correct, Brent. We are only talking about QA right now. And after that, we will be going to prod.
So I'm a little concerned that how do we know that prod is going to work if I'm given new keys on, I guess, Friday? Because
if QA works, prod should work though, right?
Right? I hope so.
So we verify when we go live. We verify that it's like any other project though, right? Your prod URL and keys will be different. So you have to configure that, you have to release it, and then we'll have to check out after we release it.
Also that we have to put a keys in Azure Key Vault for prod. So we need to raise a RFC for that, and then it takes its own time.
No, not for the prod though. So if it is taking time in the prod, let me know. Because they should. It's based on the release schedule. So if the release schedule is for your release is on 17th, then they should do it on 17th during the release. They should have a task to do it. So somebody will come and they'll have to do it.
In the lower environment also we need to set up that way so that we can have a time to test it out in the lower environment.
Okay,
so
did we not send that RFC yet to the lower environment?
No, we haven't created. First we wanted to make sure that it is working fine. So that's the stage we are at currently, and it's been done now.
Okay,
now we have
to submit the RFC today.
Okay.
Okay, let's submit the RFCs, and they should be able to configure it either today or tomorrow. So that's pricing sophistication. What other projects, Swati, run by project integration?
Let's while on pricing sophistication, Brent, do you think, given that things will be ready today, Friday and Monday, you'll have testing. Tuesday will be a good day for you. Where do you stand with Tuesday here? You'll be getting 2 days of testing.
I can create a PR as things stand right now, except I do a little bit of cleanup, and I can get a PR approved. I can send that to Colin and move that to QA.
So we can have another touch base on Monday, and you'll be good with that Monday touch base.
Sure.
Okay. Srini, what about you, Srini? Since we are talking about it, where is it? Where is CAT modeling?
Yeah, same. By Monday, I should be able to. I will be able to raise a PR today after the cleanup, and then tomorrow on Monday we will have a chance to test it out. In the meantime, I need to put the keys in Azure Key Vault for lower environment, and then same thing will go for prod as well. So, but I need the values for prod ASAP so that I can raise them.
We are working on that right now.
Okay.
So Sean, are you going, Sean, for prod? Or I know you're not using the endpoints in prod for MVR. What is the plan for you?
So we are going to go live
on June 17th.
Well, no, but it's off in production. So even if we go live on the 7th, even if you go live on the 17th, we're not going to make any calls until.
So you are good. You don't have any input for prod.
No. Okay. And we've been working through the issues in QA for a bit now. So.
Thanks, Sean. Hari, do you want to talk about bond-click Equifax?
Yeah. Testing is happening on acceptance, Swati.
Mm-hmm.
There's one test case remaining that needs to be tested. Yeah, that's it. I think Sharon will be able to finish it today, I think.
So you are good to go for
what about IBML?
IBML again.
Kalpesh is on the call. Actually, okay. Kalpesh can talk about IBML.
Kalpesh is on the call. Okay. Hey, Kalpesh.
Yeah, we should be good.
Okay, that's great.
One thing, Swati, I think if you can share the prod credentials before, like, end of Friday or Monday, because I usually test the prod endpoints via Postman just to make sure everything looks good, instead of directly testing on the night of deployment. I think that will be helpful for me.
But the URL won't be available until production.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, I was about to say that.
It's going to be only available on the night of deployment, right?
Production. Yep.
So we would know the URL. We would know what the URLs are, right?
If we're doing this, we should probably plan on having this meeting whenever you're releasing that night. Is that the 17th is also the turn on date for our DIC. I can't have people, log in and find out that it's not working. And if the only time we have to test this is the exact night of, we should probably schedule this call for your deployment and have everyone go through and test their app in prod to make sure it's working.
It's the only way. That's what I'm saying. You have to align. Every single person on this call has to have someone to validate on the exact day you go live. And then you have to convert it. You have to roll it all back completely if it fails.
Yeah.
It's a go, no go. It's not like are you okay? No, it's you're switching over an entire URL remapping. It's not going to work unless everyone is there at the exact same time. Everyone approves the sign off, and then you can say you can go live. Otherwise, you have to roll back.
Yes, Hunter, that is the plan since we don't want to change the URL. So, Colin, you think 17th you will have a hard time finding someone to validate the change?
No. We can validate it. I might, if we have to roll back, I might have a hard time finding somebody to roll me back. And I'll have to turn off and inform our business users that we're turning off that functionality. Like, if we're broken, I'm going to turn this functionality off for DIC, right? Either I turn it off at DIC or I turn off the CAT model, or like somebody needs to communicate to our business users that our app is not going to be there.
So, Colin, the way I look at it is this is like a hot fix as Hunter was describing. So you put it out, things work, we are fine. Otherwise, hoping things will work, will be all good. Otherwise, we will point the URLs back to APIGEE, and you can roll back.
But everybody,
Swati,
the point that Hunter was trying to make there is it's not just one app. Everybody will have to roll back.
Yes, that's right. Satya. Everyone has to have a go plan and a no-go plan. So then you roll the app to the previous version. I'm good with that. It's going to be it's going to be really coordinated effort. It's
That's
not going to be like
I agree. It should be coordinated effort. Everybody should have the go, no-go, and rollback plan.
It would have been a lot easier if we didn't reuse the URLs and everybody could have gone when they were ready.
Yeah, I think we're past that at this point. But
yeah, I think
I agree.
Past
I
that.
agree. It would have been easier.
There was a direction that came from the top that reuse the URL as is to minimize the impact.
Yeah, there would have been a lot of rework for all of our network and infrastructure teams, so that would have been very unfortunate too. So
yeah. Okay, let's move on
to the next
Swati.
application.
Yeah.
Yep. S360 Hunter, you are not on scope right now, correct? You are off of APIGEE.
Yeah, the only thing I care about is the exact date that we want to do this, and I'm going to ensure that we're done before then. Does that make sense? That's all I need is just the exact date, and I'm going to do a hot fix prior to that to make sure it works. Because mine doesn't need it the way that we did it before. So.
Twilio, Jeff, what do you think about it, Jeff?
I'm all set to go.
Think you're good for now?
I'm good for now and good for Tuesday.
Okay, good for Tuesday.
Very confident, Jeff.
That's nice. Yep. And then,
okay, I have to say,
we also have Ajit.
1 second.
Ajit.
Yeah,
sorry.
I think
Ajit,
I made those changes, the same endpoint MFA changes. We made those, but from past 1 week, it's quite inconsistent. One day it works, one day it doesn't work. The API fails multiple times.
That's Alramik though, Swati and Akila. What is happening there?
I think things got stabilized in last 2 days. I know it went on and off, Ajit. But last 2 days, Jeff was saying things are stable, pretty much stable with Twilio for
the last day it's been stable.
Yes.
I mean, that's
Has
what...
the testing resumed?
Okay. So we made changes like since last week. It passed on Tuesday afternoon. And it failed on Tuesday evening. And it did pass yesterday. We are planning to again test it today too. So I'll keep you posted closely on it.
Okay, if it passed yesterday, then we should test it today and tomorrow, and then it should be ready though, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So should I say good for now, Ajit, for you?
Okay, yeah, good for now.
Capacity, it's not in the scope. LexisNexis. Alex, do you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I'm seeing strange behavior and acceptance still. When I debug locally, we've already talked about this, sometimes if there's a cache response that isn't correct, it can't deserialize, I get an error, but when we use like new data, it's fine. For some reason, when it's deployed in acceptance, so far I'm seeing just empty responses. And I think when you and I looked in Datadog, it looked like the call wasn't even reaching Azure.
That is correct. There is some issue with the bond click, like the app reaching the endpoint, and we were supposed to meet today morning. That did not happen. So shall I say that testing in progress, validation in progress for you?
Yeah, I think we just need to get together, look at this, see
that's an important. This is an important area, though, right? LexisNexis. We should get that resolved right away.
Yep.
It's a no-go if it doesn't happen. Any of this doesn't go through, it's a no-go.
Swati, I'm free. I have a meeting from 3 to 4, but I'm free the rest of the day around that.
And going up IDP, I think we have Shiva on the call for IDP. Shiva, do you want to speak about IDP?
I'll let Era speak to that.
Yeah, we tested in QA. It's working fine now, Swati, and we just need the product credentials so that we can update the system and keep them ready for the go live.
So I'll say good for Tuesday for you.
Yeah.
And then IBML, I heard Kalpesh, he's good for Tuesday. Hari, BondClick and IBML integration?
Sharon submitted an app to IBML. She's waiting from Ken to actually issue it and invoice it. Once Ken finishes his end, we're gonna.
I only do the invoicing. Joanne would do the other part.
Okay, I think she reached out to Joanne and you, right, Ken?
Yes, she did.
Okay. So once that is issued and invoiced, right, we're gonna check back in BondClick to see if the issue got updated, and that will end the testing.
Did it pass there to IBML?
It went to IBML.
Okay.
We are waiting.
That part is done. So we are waiting for the receiving.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want to say validation in progress, Hari, or do you want to say good for now since it reached IBML?
No, it should be validation in progress.
It should be validation.
Yeah.
And Srini, ISO?
Yeah, good, right?
Yep. Good for Tuesday, correct?
There was an issue, right, with ISO? Was that all resolved?
Yeah, we resolved it, Satya.
Okay, great.
And then Lakshmi, regarding the accelerators?
Yes, Swati, we are good with Q environment. I'll be creating the MSIs, production MSIs today for the software packaging. It will take some time for the software packaging and releasing it to the software center. So I'll be giving the MSIs to the Christian today.
Oh, so you're good for Tuesday?
Yes.
Swati, just a quick question about the accelerators. I know you have Hazard Hub, MSB, Risk Meter, and CAB listed here. I think some of the accelerators have a call to Verisk.
Actually, Kevin, yeah, I did go behind that, Kevin. Other day, I forgot to update you. Those accelerators that we were talking earlier regarding the Verisk CAP modeling that Samuel uses, those are developed by the Verisk themselves. Like, it's been outsourced to them, so they talk to their APIs. They don't go through APIGEE at all. So it's an accelerator, but it doesn't go through. It's an Excel sheet, it's a Excel plugin.
It doesn't go through our platform, right?
It doesn't go through our
directly
platform.
goes through Verisk.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is a Excel plugin, Kevin.
It's not the same Excel plugin that's used for Hazard Hub, Risk Meter, etc.
No, Hazard Hub Risk Meter uses our DIP and APIGEE, right?
Okay.
Whereas what Swati is saying is that Verisk developed it, they bypassed our DIP and APIGEE and they consume directly their APIs.
Okay. I got you.
So there is no risk on that.
So one other thought with just rollout and backout plan, right? I think, Swati, correct me if I'm wrong, with this accelerator update on row 11, is there an updates for the users that use those Excel files to make those calls that needs to go along with this release? Is that true?
That's the plugin that Lakshmi mentioned, that she will be creating MSI and she had to put it on the software center. For all those who are using the Excel, they need to reinstall it.
Because that would have to be released if the release night everything checks out and
that's
it's a go for all applications. So that communication and that rollout of that app would be dependent on all this.
That's right.
Cool.
So I think that communication also will have to be handled for the users who actually use these Excel plugins.
It's correct, Satya. We should give them a heads up on Tuesday maybe, and then we can have that ready for them. Actually, we can leave them in there in the software center for them on Tuesday and let them know on Wednesday that they need to go and grab it if things go fine.
Communication needs to happen that this is coming, and once it's all live, once it's all successful, we need to send them another communication that they need to install it. It's available in their software center.
And then it's complete. Yeah, giving a heads up and a complete. Yeah.
You have done this last time, so you need to get that list of people who actually have access to those and communicate to them.
Yep. I think that covers all the endpoints. So we'll have another touch base on Monday and by that time, all the teams should have their prod credentials, production credentials, and then we'll decide about the go no go for the Tuesday night. Any questions? We are 2 minutes past noon.
No, and let's schedule that Tuesday night. This whole group.
Yep, definitely.
Swati, you may also want to track the RFCs for each of those teams in the sheet, making sure that what stage that RFCs are. If there are any issues with the approvals with RFCs, then we can have to expedite that as well.
That's okay. You mean the individual application RFCs for the deployment?
That's right.
Yep, maybe I'll create a master RFC and maybe the teams can start creating their own RFCs underneath that, so we can track it in one place.
Yeah, I'm fine either way. But if you're creating one master RFC, those are different individual applications. I'm not sure how you're able to tag it.
Oh, okay.
So it should be on their own RFCs, and then you should track it in the sheet. That's all. I want to see where this. Some RFCs might have more configuration than the other RFCs, right? So they might need some help in getting those approvals. For example, if there is any keyword configuration required, if things are not happening, then we need to help them to escalate things up so that it can get approved.
Please send me your RFC numbers once you create by end of Friday. Then I can track them on Monday and Tuesday to see and reach out to me if you need any help with expedition.
I think that's going to be kind of late, especially for the credentials, because ours are an RFC for a database change, and we normally have to give 48 hours notice.
Not for production, though. Production, you can create an RFC right away.
But the database team likes to have 48 hours notice.
Yeah, they would need. You can create an RFC even now. They just need that notification that RFC is coming. You can specify in the RFC that the specific details of the keys or whatever that secrets are that will be stored in the database that can be provided on the day of the and you cannot put that in the RFC anyway. You have to send it in an email, separate email.
Secrets.
You cannot put the secrets in the RFC. They'll flag you if they did that. If you did that.
I'm well aware.
Yeah. So let's create the RFCs and we can send the secrets when it's available or URL when it's available.
Yep.
RFCs can be created even now.
So I have a question. Do we have the parent change RFC number? Because we should be able to tie it to the parent, right? Individual RFCs. Like you mentioned.
No, you create your own application RFCs. Don't tie it to the master RFC.
Okay.
You could, if you want to as a reference, you can mention it in your RFC. Swati, create your master RFC and send it over to everyone so that they can reference it.
Teams will manage their own RFCs and it will be a separate thing. Got it.
But we should have the parent RFC number to put it as a reference in our RFCs, right? So we need that.
So you will be creating your own RFC as though you're going out for a hotfix. And you can reference this RFC, but it won't be linked. It's just a reference.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone, for your help.
Thanks, everyone.
So before we go, Swati, when are we taking another pulse? Maybe tomorrow?
Monday afternoon. That's what they said. They need that QA testing
Monday
for 2 days.
afternoon is fine. Okay, Monday afternoon is fine.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, everybody.
everyone.